Hi, I'm very excited about today's project. I'm going to show you how to make Ninja Turtles using polymer clay, and then I'm going to use these Ninja Turtles in a second project, putting them inside bath fizzies as a surprise for your children. So let's get started. The main thing I'll be using today is polymer clay, and I love working with polymer clay. It's a moldable clay that you bake in the oven and then it becomes hard. So your children can help you with the molding part and then you can do the baking part. So I'll be using brownish gold for the shell, green for the turtle, blue because I'm using making Leonardo, brown for his sash, white for behind the eyes, cream for the belt buckle, and you'll also need some artistic or jewelry wire to keep the parts together, a rolling pin, a knife to cut your clay with, and I use a Play-Doh knife, a pencil, and then cutters to cut your wire with. And it's up to you whether or not you want to use the wire. If you can make your parts stick together without the wire, that's fine, but I just find it a lot easier to use the wire. So let's get started. The first part I'll be working on will be the head. So you'll pinch off a piece of green clay and roll it into a little bowl like this. The bowl is probably a little bit smaller than a dime, I would say. And I just rolled it out like this. This is going to be the head, and I found that it's much easier to work separately with the different pieces. For example, I do the head, and then I do the body separately, and then I attach them together, because if you press too hard, you can squeeze your clay. Now what I do is I just take a pencil, and I press gently on the top of the clay, leaving an indentation that is actually going to be where his mask goes. So you just leave a little indentation like that. Press again. And then what I do is I take my little piece of white and I roll it out into a log shape. And sometimes you have to cut it if I use too much. So it's shaped like a log. And then I'm going to cut it a little bit because it's a little bit too big. This is actually going to sit in that indentation that I made. And I press it a little bit. And then I just place it onto that indentation. That will go behind his mask, so that will be kind of the white of his eyes. So that won't actually show, and I just kind of press it in there. Now the next thing I'll make will be his mask, so I'm going to use my blue. I have it shaped like a bowl. I'm going to roll it out and shape it like a log. And the reason I wanted to do Ninja Turtles is since the movie's coming out next month, and I mean, so many people love the Ninja Turtles, and my nephew is actually a really big fan. So now I have it rolled out like a log. Now I'm going to take my rolling pin and flatten the log since the mask is flat. So it kind of looks like this. And the next thing I want to do is cut out the eyes. What I used for the eyes is a straw. I took a straw like this and I actually cut it in half. I sliced it in half so that it looked like this. And then I took it and I put some tape around it so that it would leave this little shape, little oval shape, so that I could use that to cut out the eyes, because I had a hard time making the eyes the first one or two I made. And this makes a perfect eye shape. Then I just press it down in there and pull it up again. And then I press it down. Another one right next to it. And I'll show you what that looks like. So see, those two little shapes. And then I'll just take the tip of this knife, and then I'll push those little shapes out. And hopefully I'll have perfect mask. There's just one more thing I need to do with this mask before I fit it on the head. And then I'll get started on the body. There we go. So now I'm just going to put this, lay it right on top of the white. And then you'll see the reason I did the white like that. See, so the blue goes right on top of the white so that you can kind of see his eye. And I'll just make sure it fits around the head. So I'll twist this part around here. There's a truck out there. I'll twist this part around. I want to make sure it fits. So this excess I'm actually going to cut off, and then this part I'll shape so that it looks like his mask is tied. So this part, I'll actually take my knife and I'll cut this and take this part off. Perfect. And then this part, this flap, I'll cut a little bit and then I'll shape the end of it. So I have about this much left. What I do is I just cut a triangle out of here to give the shape of his mask. And I press it gently down and fold it forwards. And there you go. That is his head. His head is finished. Now I'll get started on the body. Now I'm going to start on the body. So I have a piece of green that I shaped like an oval, since the body is more of an oval size. Now I press this down onto my mat. Since the front of it will be flat, I'll press it down and then kind of shape the shell as I go along. Then I'll take my golden brown, that's also shaped like a ball, but I'm going to make it into an oval now, since the shell is more of an oval. So I have it shaped like an oval, then I flatten it with my rolling pin. Now that it's flattened, I'll place it on top of my shell so that it looks like this. I just pressed it over the back of my shell. This is the front and this is the back. So I'll make a piece for the front, I'll flatten an oval piece for the front, and that will be the front of the shell. Now for the front of the shell, I have a piece of cream, which I'll also shape like an oval, and then I'll flatten this completely. So I'll flatten this. This is going to be the front of the shell. Okay. And I'll show you how to decorate it once it's baked, just so that you can make, draw in the eyes and the lines on the stomach. So now this is the front of the shell. The last thing that I'm going to add will be the belt. Now I have the brown ready for Leonardo's belt and sash. So I just took a piece of brown, I rolled it into a log, and then I flattened it, and this will be his belt. And the second brown piece will be his sash, since Leonardo has a sash across his chest. So I'm going to place this from the top of his shell all the way across to the bottom. Just press it down like that, and then from one side of the shell to the other, I'll put his belt. The last thing that I need to do for this will be just to put the belt buckle on, where his name will go. Well, not his name, but his initial. Now I'm going to attach the legs. So to do that, I have 2 pieces of pre-cut wire, and they're about, I would say about ½ an inch, 3/4 of an inch long. And I'll just put one on each side, and then I'll slide a little bit of green clay on top of that. I'll just show you how this looks. I'm trying to make this video shorter than my usual videos. Okay, so see, he looks like he has 2 wire legs. And then I have a piece of green that I rolled out into a log. I'll make it a little bit thinner and then just cut this in 2, and then just slide the green over the wire carefully. And the way you do it so that it doesn't break is you kind of twist it on. So you take your leg and then you kind of twist the clay over the wire, twisting back and forth. And then you gently press it at the top so that you don't see the wire. There you go. You have one leg. I'll do the other one and then I'll show you how to attach the arms. So now that I've attached the 2 legs, I just press gently on the table to kind of flatten them on the bottom. Then I have this pre-cut wire for the arms, and this is going to actually be for both arms. I'll slide it through the body, starting on one side of the shell, and I'll gently push it through to the other side and kind of feel with your thumb where it's coming out, since you want it to come out the other side. And I think this is about 1½ inches long. So there I have my wire sticking out both sides, and you'll do the same thing that you did with the legs. You take a piece of green, cut it into the size you want it, and then just gently slide it onto the arm, and I'll show you how that looks. So now I've attached both arms, and this is what he looks like so far. And the last thing you'll do is attach the head. So I have another piece of wire. I'll just push it in the top, close to the front of the shell, and just push it down. leaving some sticking out like this to attach the head. And then take your head and gently twist it on. And there you go. There is Leonardo, ready to join his friends. So the next thing I'll do is bake him in the oven, and look on the back of your polymer clay package to find out how long to bake it for. But the clay I bought, you bake in the oven at 275 degrees, and I baked mine for around 20 minutes. Try not to play with them. Once they get out of the oven, they'll still be a little bit soft. Just let them cool, and then they'll be hard to the touch and ready to put in a bath fizzy, or for your children to play with. I'll show you how to put the faces on them. Here I have Raphael, and I'll show you how to put the lines on him like this so that he looks like Michelangelo. Now I use a Sharpie so that it doesn't wash off in the tub, and I just draw a line from the middle all the way down, and then under here, and then I draw, so it looks like this, and then I draw 2 lines across, one up there and one a little bit above his belt buckle. So there you go, so that it just kind of looks more like a shell. Then I make an R on his belt buckle, since this is Raphael. Now he has an R. And the final thing I do is I draw little black dots inside just to make it look like his eyes. Draw little black circles inside his mask so that you can see his eyes. And there you go, Raphael is ready to go. So the only one we need is Leonardo, and when he's finished baking, I will decorate him and I will show you how all 4 of them look. So I finished making all 4 of my Ninja Turtles, and I even made a little pizza with the extra clay I had. On the back of the shells I put a little design. So I hope you like this video and have fun creating.